Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Benyar BY-5174. You could also call it a Benyar or a Panyar. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing my Liege Design Fun Watch. The watch is so fun that nobody's bought it yet, even though it's been for sale for quite a while. And Grego's wearing my Ben Nevis, which also nobody has bought. Grego said Princess Leia wasn't very happy with her new droid because it was acting very childish. I asked Grego the droid's name. He said it was R0 R2. Here's the watch. As you can see, it looks a lot like a Panerai, except for it doesn't have that annoying crown guard that most Panerais have. Also, the subdial's at the 6, where most Panerais the subdial's at the 9. I ordered this watch quite a long time ago. I ordered it in May, and it took 6 weeks to get here. I'm not going to tell you which AliExpress store I ordered it from, because I'm not here to review AliExpress stores. I'm just here to review watches. It costs $43.33 after tax, which isn't too bad of a price for an automatic watch. There's not much point discussing the whole homage issue. If you have a problem with homage watches, then you're probably not watching my channel to begin with, because I do a lot of them. Plus, I can honestly say that even if the wife told me that I could spend 10 grand on a watch, I would not even consider ever buying a Panerai. So the only watches I ever own that will look like a Panerai are going to be homages. I'll never own a real Panerai. Panerais just don't do it for me, so I would never spend the money. The watch is 43.3 millimeters at the bezel, but 44.9 millimeters if you measure at the case. It's 15 millimeters thick, so it's pretty chunky, and it's 53.3 millimeters lug to lug, and has a 24 millimeter lug width, and weighs 104 grams on the supplied strap. This is a big watch, much bigger than I was expecting when I ordered it. The matte black dial is a cutout dial. I don't know if you can see very well with my camera, but all the numbers and 5-minute markers are cut out. So it has a Lume background underneath this black dial. It's kind of a nice effect. There are no 1-minute markers, no chapter ring or anything with them. And then you just have the Benyar name and the logo and the word automatic, and that's it. So the dial is not very cluttered. There is no date, and once again the sub-second dial is on the 6 o'clock, where most Panerais are on the 9 o'clock. And since it's so small and an automatic, it's got a really smooth sweep, even though this is only a 3 Hertz movement. It looks as smooth as a spring drive when it's this small. The display screw-down case back shows the movement. It's a G3265SJ, which of course is a Chinese movement. Once again, it's a 3 Hertz movement. And it's got kind of a nice looking rotor. Doesn't really have any numbers on it, but it's got that nice pattern. And it's got the blue screw. The watch does not hack, but it does hand wind. And the watch right now is running about 5 seconds fast, which is pretty good for a Chinese automatic. So far, I've been very pleased with these automatic movements from Benyar. They've been running very accurate, as long as you demagnetize them first. Good old Benyar still ships them in a box with a magnet. I don't know why they do that. The case is chrome plated, even though the case back says all stainless steel. It says all solid stainless steel. Well, this is a lie that Benyar always tells. Every one of their watches says all solid stainless steel. And every watch I've ever owned that's a Benyar, the case is chrome plated and not solid stainless steel. One nice thing about this watch, though, since it doesn't have a steel bracelet, you can't see the color difference. The sign crown is a push-pull, providing just your basic 30 meters of water resistance. A watch like this you're not going to wear under the water anyway, so you don't need more than 30. And the domed glass crystal gives you a nice little distortion effect. I've always been very pleased with the Benyar crystals too. They seem very thick and well made. Of course, it's not sapphire, but you're not going to get sapphire on a $40 watch. The strap is kind of different than I was expecting. It's a rubber strap with a suede upper, but if you feel the strap, it's very thick. So rubber is the main ingredient, and this suede is kind of a more like a decoration than it is an actual weight-bearing thing of the strap. I don't know if this is real suede or not. It doesn't say. It could be a faux suede. I'm not sure if it's worth the price or anything to have real suede, but it feels nice. And it does a good job of bending with the strap. I don't see any creases in it yet. So I don't think you have to worry about putting this on the deployant clasp to save your leather, because it seems to flex very nice with the rubber. But the lug width is 24 millimeters. Well, I don't have any other 24 millimeter straps. I really wish they would have done 22 millimeters. And they could have stuck with a really thick strap like this and still kept it at 22 millimeters. Here, let me show you something else I have. A strap like this, nice and wide, but it shrinks so it could still fit on a 22 lug width. They could have done something similar with this, and then you would have a 22 millimeter lug width instead. But once again, the strap's very nice, and it does a really good job of bending into the keepers. And the keepers, both of them are floating, so you don't really have to do a big flex to get them in the keeper if you don't want to. It's got a nice signed buckle that's really big, and this fits in the notches very nicely. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's a big watch. I can just barely pull this off. So if you have a wrist much smaller than mine, you might want to give this watch a pass. As you can see, I have 3 more notches to make it smaller and 4 more notches to make it bigger. So if you have a really big wrist, this watch will fit you just nice. I'm not going to show you the watch on any other straps because I don't have any other 24 millimeter straps. And I have a feeling most of you don't either. I still don't know why they didn't make this 22. Here we are in the Lume room. We're not going to do a side-by-side comparison this time. I think it's just sufficient to show off the Lume with this one watch by itself. So let's give it a good charge. Once again, I say this every time, but I have to charge my watches with this UV flashlight because my camera's not very good. One of these days I'll get a better camera. You have to keep in mind though, I am self-financed. I do not get any money for reviewing these watches. So every dollar I spend on my channel is a loss for me. Alright, let's turn out the lights. And there we are. As you can see, the hand loom's really good. It's nice and bright. And the back loom, though, isn't that great, but it's a nice bonus. It's not as important as the hand loom. So the fact that the hand loom's pretty good is a good thing. In fact, if I go from a light room to a dark room, I can usually see the hand loom. But I can't ever see the background loom unless I charge it with my UV flashlight first. So I give the Lume a good job because, once again, hands is all that's important. What do I like about this watch? Well, they really nailed the Panerai look. It really looks a lot like a Panerai. They got the numbering just right, especially these 9s and these 6s, how they curl but don't touch. I like the cool cutout dial. I think the cutout is a nice effect, and I like the fact that everything's loomed, even though the background loom isn't as strong as the hands. But having good hand loom is more important anyway. And I like this thick rubber strap with the suede. It works really well. It's comfortable, very sturdy, and you can flex it without ruining the leather. What are my gripes and groans? Well, 24mm lug width. It really limits your strap options. You're going to have to order straps for this because you more than likely don't own any 24mm straps. Plus the watch is a little big. I can pull it off, but just barely. If you have a smaller wrist, you're really going to have a difficult time wearing this. It's just going to be too big for you. And then I have the standard Benyar complaints. Don't say all solid stainless steel if the case isn't made of stainless steel. And do not ship an automatic watch in a box with a magnet in it. I'm going to make this complaint for every Benyar automatic I ever review. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, I do. For $40, you're getting something. You're getting a nice automatic watch that looks a lot like a Panerai. It's well built, and even though it's chrome plated, it feels really solid, and it doesn't seem cheap. But it all depends too on how you feel about Panerai. If you don't like the Panerai look, then I don't know if this will win you over or not. On the other hand, my wife really loves it. So you never know, I might end up keeping this one. Happy wife, happy life. Well, thank you for watching my watch review. And I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. I know I should say that at the beginning because not enough of you are liking or subscribing to my channel. But I keep forgetting. Bye.